You don't wake up one morning and decide to destroy everything. It doesn't happen in an explosion. It's slower, subtle, a drip, not a flood. It begins with a compliment, a glance, a flicker of a smile that lights something inside you that you thought had burned out long ago. My name is Margaret, and I am 46 years old. I'm a mother of 2 grown kids, a wife of nearly 2 decades, and for most of my life, I thought I was a good person, a loyal one, honest, stable, trustworthy. And yet, I cheated on my husband. I lied to my children. I became someone I never thought I could become. It started long before Eli, even if I didn't know it. Maybe it started the day David forgot our anniversary and shrugged it off with, "You know I love you." Or the night I stood at the stove, cooking dinner in silence, while he scrolled through the news and never looked up. We had love once. I remember the early days with David, road trips with the windows down and music too loud, dancing barefoot in the kitchen, staying up late talking about our future. He used to write me notes, hide them in my purse. "You make Tuesday feel like Saturday," one said. I still have it, tucked into a jewelry box I never open anymore. But over the years, life dulled us. We became managers of a household, not lovers. When our son broke his leg in high school, we spent weeks trading shifts at the hospital. When our daughter had night terrors, we'd take turns sleeping on her floor. We became a team, efficient, reliable. But teams don't kiss each other like they mean it. Teams don't whisper their desires in the dark. And then Eli came. He was 10 years younger, confident, sharp. He had this energy that made the office feel alive when he entered a room. I was his supervisor at the firm, technically, but it didn't take long for our relationship to tiptoe past professional. He noticed things, the earrings I wore, the books I brought to lunch. He asked questions, made jokes, laughed at mine. One day he said, "You have this way of talking that makes people lean in." I remember blushing. That night I stood in the mirror for longer than usual, fixing my hair, applying lipstick I hadn't worn in years. At first it was innocent, or so I told myself. Coffee breaks, long lunches, shared stories about our lives, his dates, my kids. It felt good to be listened to, seen. But one evening, everything changed. We were alone in the break room. The lights were dim, buzzing faintly overhead. He reached over to brush a crumb from my cheek. His fingers lingered. His gaze held mine, and he kissed me. And I kissed him back. God help me, I kissed him back. That night, I drove home in silence, the taste of him still on my lips. My hands on the steering wheel trembled. My heart thudded like it was trying to escape. The next day, I told myself it was a mistake, that it would never happen again. But it did, again and again. It started with a cheap motel room near the airport, then another one across town. I told David I had a late meeting, a work emergency, a networking event. I became a master of lies, each one easier than the last. And each time I saw Eli, I fell deeper. He was intoxicating, the way he touched me, the things he whispered. He made me feel alive, wanted, worshipped. He said things like, "You're not like other women your age, you're magnetic." I believed him. The sex was wild, passionate, urgent, like we were trying to devour each other before time caught us. He'd pull me close and say, "You don't know what you do to me, Margaret." And I needed to hear it. I was starving for it. In those moments, I wasn't a mother or a wife or an aging woman. I was a goddess, a lover, someone worth chasing. We met in parking lots, slipped into rooms with the blinds drawn. I bought new lingerie. I lost weight without trying. I felt reborn. He'd whisper fantasies about leaving it all behind and starting fresh somewhere else. He'd stroke my hair and say, "I wish I met you years ago." I hung on every word like it was scripture. There was one afternoon with Eli that still haunts me. A boutique hotel just outside the city. Rain fell in sheets against the windows. We ordered room service, champagne and strawberries like it was a honeymoon. He looked at me, tracing my bare shoulder with his fingertip, and said, "If things were different, I'd take you away from all of this." I remember believing him. For a heartbeat, I believed he meant it. He kissed me like I was oxygen, like he couldn't breathe without me. But hours later, when I reached for him in the dim light and said, "Do you think about a future with me?" he rolled away and muttered, "Don't start this." I should have seen it then, but I didn't want to. I was too far gone. His text changed from "Can't stop thinking about you" to "You coming tonight?" One night, I asked him again if he ever thought about being with me. For real. He laughed. "We said no strings, remember? Don't get weird on me." That night, I cried in the motel bathroom, sitting on the cold tile floor. Still, I kept going back. Why? Because the fantasy was better than the reality I had to return to, until one day, the fantasy vanished. He ghosted me. No warning. No explanation. He changed apartments, stopped replying, avoided me in the halls. I was erased, and I unraveled. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. My skin broke out. My mind raced. I became paranoid, anxious, empty. The unraveling was slow, humiliating. One colleague, Jessica, stopped inviting me to lunch. Another began looking at me with pity. Word had gotten around. I don't know how, but people always know. At PTA meetings, the other moms looked through me. One whispered, "Homewrecker," under her breath as I walked past. My social circle shrank to nothing. Even the barista at my favorite cafe stopped making small talk. At home, David existed like a shadow in my periphery. One morning, I reached for his hand and he pulled away. No words, just that small movement. That was the day I stopped trying to touch him. Then he found out. It was a careless mistake. I left my laptop open. A message popped up. Explicit. Obvious. He saw it. He didn't yell. Didn't throw anything. He just stood there staring at the screen, then at me. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. He asked, "How long?" I told him. Everything. He walked out of the room. We didn't speak for days. Our kids came by. They knew something was wrong. We tried counseling, sat through awkward sessions, talked in circles. I begged for forgiveness. He said he didn't know if he could ever trust me again. I lost him. Even though he stayed, I lost the part of him that looked at me with love. And Eli? He moved on. I saw him laughing with a new intern one day. The same smile, the same charm. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. Because I chose this. I destroyed everything for a lie. And now I live in the silence. The dinners where no one speaks. The bed where he sleeps with his back turned. The mirror where I avoid my own reflection. My children have grown more distant. My daughter barely returns my texts. My son, he used to call me every Sunday. Now it's once every few weeks, and even then the conversations are clipped, polite, formal. I'm still in therapy, alone now. David stopped coming after 6 sessions. One Christmas, 3 years after the affair, I saw David on a walk near our old church. He was with someone, a woman. They were laughing. She touched his arm. I hid behind the brick archway, heart pounding. Watching them felt like swallowing glass. But I didn't approach. I didn't ruin it. I let him have that. If you're listening to this, please, don't make the same mistake. Affairs don't fill the void. They dig it deeper. They don't make you feel alive. They kill the parts of you that once were. I thought I meant something, but I was just a secret. And now I live with the wreckage, every single day. Wow. I just came across this old post on Marriage Builders I wrote years ago. I'm 56 now. The house is quieter than it used to be. My daughter has 2 children of her own. My son just got engaged. They've forgiven me in small ways, I think. They still come around, but there's always a shadow between us, an invisible reminder of who I became, if only for a season. David remarried 2 years ago. Her name is Teresa. I met her once at our granddaughter's birthday party. She was kind, graceful. She offered me a slice of cake like we were old friends. And David? He looked happy. It wasn't bitter. It wasn't cruel. It was sobering. That happiness had once been mine. I lost it. I gave it away. I live alone now, in a small townhouse not far from where we raised our family. I've painted the walls a warm yellow. I grow herbs on the windowsill. I go to church on Sundays, and I still see my therapist once a month. She says I've come a long way, and maybe I have. But some nights I still dream about the version of me that never opened that door, the version of us that grew old together, holding hands on the porch swing, trading stories and soft smiles. I know that version doesn't exist anymore, so I try to be someone new, someone better. I volunteer at the library. I write letters I never send. I spend hours with my grandchildren and tell them how important it is to be honest with the people you love. Not a day goes by that I don't think about what I did, but I'm learning how to live with it, one breath at a time, one quiet act of kindness at a time. And if you've heard my story, if you've made it this far, I hope you take this with you. Nothing good grows in secret soil. What you plant in darkness can never flourish in light. Choose truth. Choose love. Choose the hard, holy work of staying before it's too late.